everybody, this is Dana. Today I am going to demonstrate for you how to do the cluster stitch. It's a really cool stitch. See if you can get it here that you can see it. It kind of looks like a bauble. In this case I'm in the midst of making a hat, and I have done the cluster stitch at regular intervals to make a really cool pattern. The way the cluster stitch works is you have 3 pegs of E-wrap stitch and then a 3-peg cluster stitch. So this is done over 3 pegs. So 3 pegs of E-wrap, and then you do 3 stitches, 3 pegs using the cluster stitch. So let's get busy. Alright, in order to do the cluster stitch, you're going to need a cable needle, because we're going to pull 3 stitches off of the pegs and put them onto the cable needle, do the cluster stitch, and then put the 3 stitches back onto the pegs. If you don't have a cable needle, you could use a safety pin even. Just something to be able to secure those 3 stitches. All right, let's begin. The steps for the pattern are, you will E-wrap knit 3 and then perform the cluster stitch over 3 pegs. Another little helpful hint, I don't know if you can see here with the camera that well. It is very helpful. I just used a pencil and scratched in, here's 3, and then I left 3 blank. I used a pencil and highlighted 3 here and left 3 blank. That just helps me see where my 3 stitches are. So you can use stitch markers, you can use masking tape, just put a little masking tape in front of 3, every other 3. So the steps are, number 1, we are going to E-wrap 3 stitches. So E-wrap 1, E-wrap 2, E-wrap 3, and knit those 3 off. So that's my knit 3 that you'll see in a pattern. The next thing you'll see in a pattern is cluster 3. So the next 3 pegs are going to have the cluster stitch. In order to perform the cluster stitch, step 1 is you E-wrap knit those 3 pegs. Okay, step 2 is I'm going to take those 3 pegs off of the loom and secure them with my cable needle. So there's peg number 1, peg number 2, and peg number 3. So those 3 stitches come off the loom and they're sitting on my cable needle. You see my working yarn here. My little coffee stirrer is my yarn guide, works nice. We're going to wrap these 3 stitches with my working yarn to the outside of the loom and then around to the inside. So there's wrap 1, wrap 2, wrap 3, and we're going to wrap it a total of 4 times. Okay. And I know that in the pattern my next 3 are going to be E-wrap knit, right? Because our pattern, if you remember, was E-wrap knit 3, cluster stitch 3. Knit 3, cluster stitch 3. So in order just to secure my working yarn, you don't have to, but it's what I like to do. I'll go ahead and knit, E-wrap knit the next peg, just to secure that working yarn so it doesn't go flopping all over the place and drive me crazy. Now all I have to do is take my 3 stitches and place them back onto the pegs in order. So there's the first one, he goes back on that peg. Second stitch, I'm going to pick up and put on the peg he came from. Oopsie, my yarn split. Hate it when that happens. There we go. And my last one. Go back on the same peg I pulled them off of to start with. All right, that is my cluster stitch. I kind of snugged that up a little bit. Okay, let's do it again. Again. The pattern is you E-wrap 3 stitches, so I already did 1, 2, 3. So E-wrap my 3 stitches and knit off. And then over 3 pegs, I will do a cluster stitch. So step 1, you E-wrap knit those 3 pegs. Step 2, you lift those 3 stitches off of the pegs and onto your cable needle. So there's stitch 1, stitch 2, stitch 3, pull them off the pegs in the loom. With your working yarn, you wrap to the outside of the loom, back to the inside of the loom. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. And again, I know that the next stitch is going to be an E-wrap knit, so I'm going to go ahead and work that stitch just to secure the working yarn. And now I just pick up my 3 stitches off of my cable needle and put them back onto their respective pegs on the loom. So there's peg 1, peg 2, and peg 3. That's it. That's all there is to the cluster stitch.